Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chris Josh Show, where we dive deep into the issues that matter and uncover ways to elevate your life to its highest potential. I'm your host, Chris Josh, and today we're talking about something that hits home for so many of us: how bad relationships can hold you back, cripple you, and take a serious toll on your mental and physical health. Relationships can be beautiful, but when they turn toxic, they can become one of the greatest barriers to personal growth. In this episode, we're going to explore the hidden costs of staying in a bad relationship, the science behind how it affects your health, and most importantly, how you can reclaim your power and break free. So, if this resonates with you, stick around. Let's start by unpacking what it means to be in a toxic relationship. A bad relationship isn't just about the arguments or feeling unhappy. It's about a cycle of negativity, manipulation, disrespect, or even abuse. And the worst part? It's easy to get stuck because it often chips away at your self-esteem before you even realize what's happening. Here's what it looks like. You stop dreaming big because someone convinces you you're not capable. You avoid opportunities because you're too drained by constant conflict. You settle for less because you've been conditioned to believe that's all you deserve. And let me tell you, it's not just in your head. This kind of relationship can keep you in survival mode, where you're just trying to get through each day instead of thriving. I've been there, and I know some of you listening right now are nodding because you're feeling this too. All right, let's pause this episode for a second and get into the 10 random facts. Number 1, horses can't breathe through their mouths. Unlike most mammals, horses can only breathe through their noses due to the unique structure of their airway. Isn't that interesting? Number 2, a day on Jupiter lasts less than 10 hours. Despite its massive size, Jupiter has the shortest day in the solar system, spinning once every 9 hours and 56 minutes. That's interesting. Number 3, the world's quietest room can drive you crazy. Located in Minnesota, the anechoic chamber at Orfield Laboratories absorbs 99.99% of sound, and people can't stay in it for more than 45 minutes without feeling disoriented. For those of you looking for peace, be careful, because too much peace will drive you crazy. Number 4, butterflies remember being caterpillars. Now, that must be a traumatic memory. Researchers show that butterflies retain some memories and learned behaviors from their caterpillar days despite the drastic metamorphosis. Number 5, dolphins call each other by name. What's your excuse for not remembering people's names? They have unique whistles that function like names, allowing them to recognize each other even after being apart for years. Number 6, mushrooms can create their own wind. We create our own wind too, especially when we eat Taco Bell. Some mushrooms release water vapor to create air currents that help disperse their spores. Number 7, there's a lake in Antarctica that never freezes. Lake Vostok, buried under miles of ice, remains liquid due to the pressure and geothermal heat, and it hasn't seen sunlight for millions of years. Number 8, the human nose can detect over 1 trillion scents. So don't think we can't smell you if you haven't showered for a month. Recent studies have shown that our sense of smell is far more powerful than previously thought. Number 9, giraffes hum at night. They produce low-frequency humming sounds in the dark, possibly to communicate with each other when visibility is low. Can you imagine you were a giraffe and you're trying to sleep, but all the other giraffes are humming? Yeah, I'm sure you're glad you're not a giraffe. Number 10, Bees can recognize human faces. Bees have a remarkable ability to recognize individual human faces, remembering them through a combination of patterns and shapes, similar to how humans do. So next time you have a bee following you, just know it remembers how you talk crap about all the bees. And as a bonus, number 11, the world's largest snowflake was 15 inches wide. In 1887, a snowflake measuring 15 inches or 38 centimeters in diameter was reportedly found in Fort Keogh, Montana, making it the largest recorded snowflake in history. And now, let's get to the next segment of this episode. Here we'll be talking about the impact on mental and physical health. Now, let's dive into the science. A toxic relationship doesn't just weigh on your mind, it takes a toll on your body too. Studies have shown that chronic stress from unhealthy relationships can lead to serious health problems like high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, and even a weakened immune system. They can also impair your frontal lobe, which is responsible for the following. Number 1, executive functions. The capacity to plan, organize, initiate, and control responses to achieve a goal. This includes attention, reasoning, judgment, problem solving, creativity, emotional regulation, and impulse control. Number 2, movement. The frontal lobe controls voluntary movement, including simple, complex, sequenced, and automatic motor skills. Number 3, language. The frontal lobe controls expressive language, including semantics, grammar, and social context. Number 4, personality. The frontal lobe is considered the home of personality. Number 5, social skills. The frontal lobe helps you understand and control how you talk, behave, and interact with others. And number 6, short-term memory. The frontal lobe helps you remember things. Think about it. When you're constantly walking on eggshells or absorbing negativity, your body is in a constant state of fight or flight. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is on overdrive. This can lead to weight gain, sleep disturbances, and even heart disease over time. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a bad place emotionally, you're more likely to get sick or feel physically drained? That's your body telling you that something is off. And it's not just your physical health, your mental health suffers too. You start to lose yourself. You forget what joy feels like, what peace feels like. It's like living in a fog. Now here's my story. I was in a toxic relationship. The person I was dealing with was always pessimistic and always complaining. My health took a nosedive. I lost my memory and my executive brain functions. I couldn't walk at times. I couldn't converse with anyone because of impaired memory. I couldn't decide on something as simple as what shirt I was going to wear for the day. I felt like I was the living dead. I had a pulse, but that's about it. One day, like a prisoner breaking out of prison, I planned my escape. I found an apartment and signed the lease. I had about a month before I could move in. When the time was approaching, I was slowly getting ready for the move. I took the bare minimum essentials with me in a carry-on luggage. A few changes of clothes, my laptop, my iPad, my headphones, and that was it. But when move-in day came, I waited till the person was out of the house and I made my escape. But as I was about to step out of the door, she was there, pleading with me to stay, holding both my wrists and drop it to the floor to anchor me in position. I refused to stay as she held on. As I walked with all my might, she was being dragged along as she held on to my wrists for dear life. But it was no match for my determination to break free from the hellhole I was living in. I was willing to lose everything just to gain back my peace. Alright, let's take another break from the topic for a couple of minutes. I got 10 jokes for you. Yeah, some of these you may have heard of, I know, and a couple might be corny, but so what? Let's have a quick laugh before we get back to the show. Number 1. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Because they don't have the guts. Number 2. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. Number 3. I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes. She gave me a hug. Number 4. What do you call fake spaghetti? An impasta. Number 5. Why did the math book look so sad? Because it had too many problems. Number 6. I asked my dog, what's 2 minus 2? He said nothing. Number 7. What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. Number 8. I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down. Number 9. What do you call cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese. And number 10. Why don't oysters donate to charity? Because they're shellfish. Alright, a couple of these are played out, but whatever. Let's get back to the show. Now, moving on to the next segment. Breaking free and moving forward. So how do you break free? How do you find the courage to move on and prioritize your well-being? Let me share a few actionable steps. Number 1. Acknowledge the problem. The first step is recognizing that the relationship is toxic. It's not about blaming the other person or yourself. It's about being honest with your situation. Number 2. Set boundaries. If you're not ready to walk away completely, start by setting boundaries. Decide what behaviors you will and won't tolerate. Number 3. Seek support. You don't have to do this alone. Talk to trusted friends, family, or even a therapist. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Number 4. Invest in yourself. Start focusing on activities that bring you joy and help you rediscover your passions. Maybe it's reading, going to the gym, or even starting a new project. And finally, number 5, make a plan. If leaving the relationship is the best course of action, create a plan. Whether it's finding a new place to live or building a support network, having a clear path forward will make the process less overwhelming. And now, the light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's hard to let go. I know it feels scary to start over. But I want you to hear this. You are stronger than you think. The life you dream of is on the other side of that fear. Imagine waking up every day without that heavy weight on your chest, feeling free to pursue your goals, and finally experiencing peace and happiness. It's possible. It starts with one decision. Put yourself first. And now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Life is too short to spend it in a relationship that diminishes you. Choose yourself, because when you do, everything else will fall into place. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Chris Josh Show. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And as always, subscribe, leave a review, and let me know your thoughts. I love hearing from you. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you have the power to create the life you deserve.